Hey everybody, my name is Landon Burke. I am the weekday and morning anchor for ABC 30 Action News in Fresno. I got a few questions that I am supposed to answer. What sort of education training is required in your industry, and what is the job growth and pay scale like? As for what kind of education or training you need, I mean, a degree in journalism would help, but it's not 100% necessary. I mean, honestly, in this industry, most of what you learn on the job, not in a classroom. I have friends that have gotten into this industry and they didn't have a journalism degree. Maybe they studied like English or literature. If you want to be like a specific type of journalist, like if you want to be a journalist who writes about health or a journalist who writes about technology, then I would say it's actually more beneficial to have a degree that's covering that specialty area. Like I have a friend who writes for a computer magazine, and he is educated as a software engineer. His degree is in computer programming, and then he crossed the bridge into writing about computer programming. As for the job growth and pay scale, journalism is not the highest paying industry. That's kind of like a known thing. We like to joke about it to mask our pain. By the time you all enter the workforce, you can expect to be making about 30 grand or so. That's probably a good estimate at an entry-level position. The good news is that you do move up in this industry very quickly. You move around a lot. If you go into local news, you do what we call market hopping, where you start out in a really small town where the pay is very small. After about a year or two, you move to a little bit bigger city, get a little bit more pay, and so on and so on. So kind of the trade-off is, though the starting salary is pretty small compared to some of your peers, who may be going into more like business or marketing, it does grow quickly if you move to a new station in a bigger city. What could an individual be doing now to prepare for a future employment with your business? Read a lot, write a lot, but beyond that, journalism, it's really important that you practice getting out of your comfort zone. Talk to people, expand your horizons. Have difficult conversations with your friends, because those things really do, those things that help you grow as a person will really help you as a journalist, because lots of times being a journalist is, admitting our biases, admitting the things that we don't know about, because that's the first step in learning something new, is admitting that you really don't know anything. So that's the single most important thing, but obviously having some familiarity with like grammar and paragraph structure, that would be good too. Tell us a fun or interesting fact about your company, or why do you enjoy working with? Here's a fun fact. I wake up for work at 2 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at about 2:15 if I sleep in. I get to work at about 3:30. Our show, we go live at 4:30. We are live on the air until 7. We've got a couple little, we call them cut-ins, where like if you watch Channel 30, like between 7 and 9, it's Good Morning America, but every now and then we will cut in for like a local update. And then I do some other little projects around, for like maybe stories or long-term projects. And then we have the midday newscast, which runs from 11 to noon, and then we have another cut-in at 12:25. So it's like a normal workday. It just starts at 3 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. So it took some getting used to. In fact, I'm still getting used to it. I'm pretty well adjusted to it now. The problem is on weekends, because on weekends I like to go to bed at like 8 p.m., which is kind of hard on your social life, but coming off the year we have, I feel like no one really has a social life, so whatever. Advice on life that I can share. I'd say the first thing is especially, I think this is true for every industry, but especially this one is, like, don't try to be someone you're not. There's already that person. There's not one of you. Like, whenever a young journalist comes into the scene, oftentimes what they'll try to do, like, especially when they're like, voicing things on TV, is they'll try to like sound like a famous reporter or anchor that they really like. If they're like a sportscaster, they'll try to sound like Chris Berman or John Anderson or somebody, and it's like, don't. Sound like you. There's already a John Anderson. There's not whoever is watching this. Be you, because we need you. The second thing I would remind everybody is that remember that personal happiness should come before professional happiness, because You could have the best job in the world, but I mean, if you hate your life after you go home from work, then what's the whole point? So don't lose sight of that. It is great to be motivated. In fact, you have to be motivated, and you have to be driven. But just remember why we work. It's for the people we love. So never neglect them. That's all I got, guys. Thanks for watching.